Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. It's New Year's Eve. It's time for everybody to do their lists. Our list this year is going to be the best and worst guns that we reviewed in 2021. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Mantis Axe and Core belts. You'll find a link that you can sign up for Big Daddy Unlimited. They actually have things in stock and usually at a lower price than other places. Link to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. Thank you. Now, a couple of things to make it clear and understandable. They're ones we actually reviewed in 2021, not necessarily came out in 2021. And they're not going to be in like a numerical order. We're just going to do them in alphabetical order. So no particular order other than alphabetical, because they're all about the same. It's kind of hard to grade them. So let's get started with the first one. The first one we've got is the Beretta APX. And this one is the APX Carry. We did also review the APX. This line is just a lot of things that I didn't like about this gun. Beretta does make good guns, and I do like Beretta guns. But not this one. I didn't like the takedown. You saw me, it didn't want to close. The trigger is just poor. It's gritty, it's long, it's heavy. The takedown, you know, I previously mentioned, is weird. And interestingly enough, Beretta's actually recognized that. They have the A1 that looked for an upcoming review on it. And this one, first off, it closed, and it has a more normal takedown. So even Beretta recognized that that takedown needed to change. This is a crowded field. There's a lot of guns in this size category. So there's not a lot of room for suboptimal stuff. There are many manufacturers that do better things. So this gun really just didn't meet our expectations. Another one, this was loaned to us, so I got a picture of it. This is the Caltech P40, and the similar gun would be the PF9. This was the original high-capacity Micro 9 and Micro 40. This held 9 and the PF9 held 10. So really they were kind of groundbreaking at the time, which is why we actually did a review on one. But they are horribly, horribly unpleasant to shoot, especially in 40. It's like hitting your hand with a hammer. The triggers are long and heavy. They start in one zip code and end in the other. And when it goes off, you really wish it didn't. But Kel-Tec as a company, does a lot of innovative stuff, and they tend to be a lot of firsts. They don't always get it right the first couple tries, but this was truly an unpleasant gun. We borrowed it, did the review, and then returned it. One that I had fairly high expectations for is this Kimber. It's the R7 Mako. And Kimber makes a lot of high-end guns, a lot of refined guns. And if you read their website about this gun, according to their website, this is the best gun ever. They're just, all other guns are instantaneously obsolete. This is the best one ever made. Really, it isn't. The trigger is just average. The trigger is, it's not a bad trigger, but it's just kind of average and it's a little inconsistent. And overall, I wasn't impressed. Not for what the expectations were based on reading the website. And that can be important. If a gun just claims to be an inexpensive, functional gun, you review it as such. If it claims to be the best gun ever, then it better meet the expectations of best gun ever. This next one's not going to come as any surprise. Most of you guys didn't like it either. This is the standard manufacturing S333 Thunderstruck. Now, I'm not going to dry fire it because it is a rim fire, but it has this double trigger, and they allegedly improved the trigger. If this is the improved trigger, I can't imagine what the original trigger was, because this trigger is pretty horrible. It is a double barrel, so it shoots 2 rounds at once. The problem with this thing, in addition to the trigger, is the accuracy is horrible. And it's not just that it's actually got good sights, so it's not the sights, it's just that the bullets go wherever they want to. This is a gun that I think if you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with this gun if you were standing inside the barn. It really doesn't meet the expectations of what it claims to be, which is a concealed carry defensive gun. It's fairly large. Look at the size of it. It's 22, so it's got this horrible trigger, and it's really not particularly accurate. And by the way, it's 22 Magnum, which is better than 22. But overall, in this form factor and this weight, there's a lot of other better guns in a competent caliber with triggers that actually work. So I didn't expect to like this that much, but I didn't expect it to be as hideous as it was, at least from an accuracy perspective. And the last one actually came as a bit of a surprise to me, is the Taurus GX4. Taurus makes decent guns. They make inexpensive guns. They usually work for the price you're paying. But this gun, first off, it fell apart in the box. So taking it out of the box, just handling it, going to clear it, let go of the slide, and the whole thing fell apart. It did that a couple times initially. The takedown screw is supposed to put itself back into position. It wasn't doing that, so I had to manually do it. And even after manually doing it, it still wanted to come apart. The trigger is kind of inconsistent. The sight was off to the left right out of the box. So a lot of initial quality issues. Now, this is kind of an evolution of the PT111, which was actually quite a nice gun. And then the G3C came along and several guns in the evolution. I had higher expectations for this. Now, the disassembly thing, disassembling itself, did kind of resolve itself after some breaking in and some cycling of the slide and firing it. Now it does work correctly. But overall, this thing just didn't meet the expectations I had based on prior guns in this lineup. So let's do this video kind of like 2021. Start on a sour note, end on a positive note. So let's end on guns that I really liked, or that we really liked. Start with this Caltech, and again, alphabetical order, the TT9 Elite SC. This has just proved to be a wonderful gun, pleasant to shoot, awesome trigger, optics ready from the factory, reasonably priced. It just worked. It's got all the features you would want, the serrations, the Picatinny rail. In the past, I had kind of ignored Caltechs because the way they're laid out right here tends to hit on my thumb knuckle and bother me. This one didn't, so I actually bought it, and I really don't regret it. This is one of my favorite guns from 2021, without a doubt. The next one that would come in is, not surprisingly, a 1911. I really like 1911s. It's hard to beat a 1911 from a pleasure to shoot. May not be the most effective carry guns from the size and weight of them, but you really can't beat a 1911. This is the Springfield Armory Operator 1911. So it's a metal frame gun, and it's just a pleasure to shoot. It absorbed the recoil, it's easy to shoot well. The trigger, of course, it's a 70 series type design, so the trigger on it is just awesome. And it's chambered in 45 ACP, which is what, of course, people consider a 1911 should be chambered in. So really quite a nice gun. Oh, and it's got a Picatinny rail, so that you can hang a light or a laser on it if you wished. I'm going to move along, and yep, it's another Springfield. And yep, it's another 1911. This one's chambered in 9mm. And as much as I enjoy 1911s chambered in 45 ACP, I truly love 1911s chambered in 9mm. By the way, this is the Springfield Armory Ronin EMP 4-inch. You get that feel of the machine operating, that really smooth operation. You feel it functioning in your hands. And with 9mm, the recoil is negligible, and being a 70 series design as well, the trigger on it is just awesome. So we had an opportunity to review two 1911s in 2021, and both of those 1911s hit the favorites, and it's not surprising. It's hard to not like a 1911. Okay, I promise, the last Springfield, 10mm. I love 10mm. They came out with a 3.8 Elite, which is an optics ready 10mm. And this is actually probably challenging Glock's position as the leader in 10mm. Glock has pretty much had 10mm nailed. They had it all the way from a concealed carry all the way to the Glock 40, which was a good hunting gun. And Springfield Armory has come along in the XDM series and really challenging that position. Nice rail, 3-slot rail. The grip safety really disappears. I've never had a problem with these XDM grip safeties. But it has a nice trigger, kind of a flatty design trigger, nice sights, kind of a fiber optic front, and a white U at the back. It's got everything you'd like in a 10mm, and these things really handle recoil well. So this kind of came in as one of the favorites. Both of us enjoy shooting this thing, and we'll sometimes take it to the range just for fun. Now, as I promised, no more Springfields. Push that out of the way. The last one is the Walther Q4SF. This is a steel frame gun from Walther. It's similar to the PPQ. So basically, its design is derived from the PPQ in a metal frame gun. When you put 9mm in a metal frame gun with the design of the PPQ that handles recoil and has a wonderful trigger, it's just ultimate combination. Nice sights, night sights with a white ring around the front, fiber optic rear. It's got all of the features you want in basically what could be a competition gun. So this one has just proven to be fun to shoot. The sights, by the way, are different sights on different models of it. This particular one I've got with these sights, but it's got an awesome trigger. It's got that PPQ trigger, minimal take up, and then a nice light crisp break. The weight of it, it's like shooting a 22 from a recoil perspective. And this is one of those guns you could almost point it at the floor and still hit the target. It's just an easy to shoot well gun, comfortable in the hand. The grip serrations and textures make it stay in your hand. It's just, I like this thing. It's kind of simple and plain. I like it. So kind of wrapping up, we published over 60 videos throughout 2021, and of those 60 videos, 36 of them were individual gun reviews, like this particular gun. So this list draws from those individual gun reviews, not comparisons and other lists that we may have done. So we had 36 candidates for the top 5 worst and top 5 best, and the ones that we walked through are the ones that we enjoyed. Now, you may have had different experiences with them. You may have gotten, for example, the Taurus GX4 that worked flawlessly day one, or you may have gotten a Q4 that had problems. It's very, very possible. But based on our experience, that's kind of what we had. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, and kind of everywhere. And I hope your 2022 is as good or better than your 2021.